Hello guys, I am Ramavath Vinod. I am making this video as a part of deep learning project and my teammate name is NIKHIL TEJA. As the part of deep learning project, I have selected the time series domain adaptation via sparse associative structure alignment topic. In this topic, we are going to discuss about the domain adaptation on time series data, that it is an important but challenging task. Most of the existing works in the area are based on the learning of the domain invariant representation of the data with the help of restrictions like MMD. However, such extractions of the domain invariant representation is not a trivial task for time series data due to the complex dependence among the timestamps. In detail, in the fully dependent time series, a small change of time lags or the offsets may lead to difficulty in the domain invariation extraction. Fortunately, the stability of the causality inspired us to explore the domain invariant structure of the data. To reduce the difficulty in the discovery of causal structure, we relax it to the sparse associative structure and propose a novel sparse associative structure alignment model for domain adaptation. First, we generate the segment set to exclude the obstacle of offset. Second, the intra-variables and intra-variable sparse attention mechanisms are devised to extract associative structure time series data with considering time. So, let us begin this introduction. In introduction, let us see the definition of time series domain adaptation (TSDA). That it refers to the process of adapting or transferring a predictive model or algorithm developed in one time series domain to perform effectively and accurately in a different but related time series domain. In other words, it involves adjusting a time series forecasting model techniques to work well when applied to data for a different source environment, etc. Domain adaptation utilizes both a labeled source domain and data and unlabeled target domain data. It has this time series domain adaptation has a wide range of application in day-to-day life real-time applications. The existence of domain invariant representation in both the source and target domain is one of the most frequently utilized presumption in domain adaptation. Researchers have expanded the use of this time series data because it's performed so well when applied to non-time series data. To do this, they usually use the model like recurrent neural networks, shortly called as RNN, to learn or represent time series and gradient reversal layers to align the representation learned from source and target series data. So here let's see this figure 1 and figure 2, where the illustration of physiological mechanism in the human body among blood glucose, glucose, insulin. The decrease of blood glucose leads to decrease of glucose, etc. A set of source data and target data is given, and you can see this figure 2, the illustration of various structure among series times and the causal structure of variables and the existing methods like conditional independence relationships, overfitting, inspired stability, causal mechanism, and stability pairs association structures among variables are given, the relationship between them given. As figure 1, as an example, due to complex dependency structure among time steps, even small disparity from different domain, example offsets varying time lags, may result in difficulty to learn domain variation representation. So, um, figure 2, we will see that the existing model consider not the only ground truth association success but the reduction relationships, as we can see. But existing researchers that merely uses RNS as feature extractors to extract domain invariant representation is unable to complete rules out of the determinal Effects of the time lags and referrals also fails to extract the associative structure. Let's see what sparse associative structure alignment is. What is sparse associative structure alignment is? It is a computational technique used in various fields like machine learning, data analysis, everywhere. It's primarily employed for aligning or comparing data structures such as time series, graphs, sequence in a sparse association manner. The main challenge that sparse association alignment is facing is this is two: how to get rid of abstraction of time lags and offsets to extract sparse associative structure, how to extract common associative structure and further extract the domain invariant representation. To address this problem, generally they proposed the adaptive segmentation summarization. 2 is the abstract of offset. Uh, the proposed model extracts the sparse associative structure of time series data via intra-variable and inter-variable addition mechanism. So, extensive experimental studies demonstrate that our SASA model outperform the state-of-art time series on supervised domain adaptation methods on 3 real-world datasets. Let us see what are the existing techniques to calculate this domain adaptation techniques. The first one is domain adaptation on non-time serial data, and second one is domain adaptation on time serial data, and third one is sparse associative structural alignment, where we will see three other sub branches in sparse associative structural alignment. First one is adaptive segment summarization, sparse associative structure discovery, sparse associative structure alignment. Let us see first one, domain adaptation on non-time series data. The primary goal of current unsupervised domain adaptation technique are to extract the source and destination domains, domain invariant representation, one of the most well liked technique by using kernel reproducing Hilbert space in maximum mean dispersion MMD. Let us see how the domain adaptation on time series data work. The simplest approach to unsupervised domain adaptation on time series data is to simplify the features extractors like RNN based feature extractor to extract representation of time series data, to extract the representation of time series using variational NNN. Few works have been done on time series domain adaptation. Directly, you can use unsupervised domain adaptation technique developed for non-time series data to time series data in one potential remedy. The simplest approach can be with time series data is challenging to align conditional distribution of observation data across all time steps. Let us see what sparse associative structure alignment means. Let us see about the problem formulation. We concentrate in SASA. We concentrate on the issue of unsupervised domain adaptation for time series data in this paper. We define X as a multivariate time series sample with n time steps, where xt and y is labeled for each time step. According to our assumption, P probability of S of x, comma y, and probability of T of x, comma y are distinct distributions from the source and the target domains, but they are produced by common causal mechanism. The two variable sets x probability of x comma y, and probability of T x comma y share the same associative structure because two variable set produced by same causal mechanism. Should the source and target domain data sets are indicated by this and samples are indicated by this respectively, we further assume the each sample from the source domain includes corresponding sample from the target domain. Our objective is to create and predict model that give a time series sample for target domain xt and can predict yt. The goal of SASA Sparse associative structure alignment is to extract a domain invariant representation in the form of an associative structure using fine-grained segment of time series data to overcome offset and reconstruct the structure through intra-variable and inter-variable attention mechanism. Both we are using two different approaches. The approach differs from existing works that indirectly extract domain invariant representation features from different domains. This is we can see that this is three different types of segmentation summarization and sparse associative structural uh, alignment. Hmm. The framework of the sparse associative structural alignment module A adaptation. First one is adaptive segment summarization, uh, and second one is sparse associative structure discovery via intra variable and intervariable. These B second one also have two sub branches called intra variable and intervariable attention mechanism, and third one also it's a singular sparse associative structure alignment between source and target domain. Let us see what is that one by one. Adaptive segment summarization, as shown in the figure 1. This is the figure. The orange blocks whose duration varies with the different domains denote the segment of the change of variable B existing method, which take the whole time series data as input, can accurately capture when segment starts and when variable affect the other. The sphere of influence of any variable. Therefore, these methods cannot address the noise of offset, duration between start point of time series and start point of a segment. To obtain the candidate segment of ith time series xi, we use this formula. We construct multiple segments with different lengths of each variable xi. We have x fi. We can represent that x fi as this equation motivated by this professor. We allocate an independent LSTM for each variable. In detail, given a segment of ith variable with t time steps, we have this equation which theta is denoted the parameter of ith LSTM. Note that the segmentation of an univariant time series xi shares the same LSTM. And finally, we can obtain the segmentation represented as set shown is follow hi, hi1, hi2, and the dash hi. Since it's almost impossible to manually extract all these exact segments from the multivariable time series data, we first obtain the representation of all candidate segments via the aforementioned processing. The most suitable segment representations are selected and used to reconstruct the associative structure. Let us now see what sparse associative structure discovery is all about. In this sparse associative structure discovery, we will introduce how to generalize the most exact segment representation and how to reconstruct the associative structure with the help of two mechanisms. And the two mechanisms are, as I have already told, that there are two mechanisms: this intravariable and intervariable attention mechanism. Let's see what is that one by one. Segments representation selection via intravariable attention mechanism. First of all, we calculate the weights of each segment of xi as follow. This is the equation where we calculate the weights of each segment, where wq and wk, here wq and wk are trainable projection parameters, and root of dh, here the denominator root of dh is scaling factor. In order to obtain the sparse weight to represent specific segments representation, clearly we choose sparse max to calculate the weight. We are choosing this sparse max because we have specific segment representation clearly. The sparse max is defined as sparse max z. We can use this equation there in this place. returns to Euclidean projection of vector z on, onto probability simplex delta k minus 1. We obtain the weight segment representation of variable x as follows. Weight segmentation finally after generalization here in this equation w power v is trainable projection parameter. After generalization we have uh, this equation for segment representation selection via intra variable attention mechanism. Let us now see sparse associative structure reconstruction via intervariable attention mechanism. Here in this intervariable attention mechanism, our goal is to reconstruct the associative structure among variables instead of using the self-attention mechanism in the intravariable attention mechanism. One of the most straightforward method to calculate the degree of association of variables I and variable j is known as this equation e to the power of I of j equal to z to the power of I into z to the power of j by mod of z to the power of I into mod of z to the power of j. To take the time lags into account, we calculate the degree of association between variable and variable j by this equation. After normalizing these degrees of association with max as intravariable attention, we finally have the equation. This is the max equation. Let us see now what sparse associative structural element is. What we do in sparse associative structural element, we aim to extract the domain invariant information from time series data with help of extracted associative structure from source and target domains. In order to extract the domain invariant associative structure, we need to restrict the distance of structure between the source and target domain. Since beta ij can seems as the associative strength distribution between I and j, we turn the problem of structure distance measure to the distribution distance measure. Formally we have this equation. Finally, let's what is the model summary. Task based label predictor, we aim to obtain the domain invariant representation which are combined with sparse associative structure beta. In detail, we first calculate the associative structure representation of variable j, which is shown as follows. As a result, we can obtain the final representation by concentrating on weight segment representation and associative structure representation as follows. What is the objective function? The total loss of propositional structural element model for time series domain application is formulated as this equation. Under the above objective functions, our model is trained on source and target domain using the following procedure. Experiments. Let's see what experiments. Setup boiler fault detection dataset. The boiler dataset consists of sensor data from 3 boilers used from 2014 to 2016. The 3 boilers in the datasets, and each boiler is considered as one domain. The learning task is to predict the faulty bottom value of each boiler. Since the fault data is very rare, it's hard to obtain the faulty samples of the mechanical system. So it's important to utilize the labeled source data and unlabeled data target to improve model generalization. The second experiment we are going to do and apply SASA is air quality forecast dataset. The air quality forecast dataset is collected in urban air project from some duration, which contains air quality data and weather forecast data, and data covers 4 major Chinese cities. Air quality data as well as everything. We choose the air quality station with the least missing value and take each city as domain. We use this dataset because the air quality data is common in the sensor as the smart city systems usually contains complex casualty. And next example we use is hospital
mortality prediction dataset. Here uh, we collect data associated with more than 40,000 patients who stayed in critical care units of medical centers from few years, and choose 12 time series such we choose variables such as heart rate, temperature, etc. to calculate and predict the mortality in the series domination adaptation. We split the patients into four groups according to the age, and this is the AUC score percentage on hospital mortality, air quality, and boiler faulty. Using few different types of method LSTM, RDC, and total number of parameters, and all methods in different datasets. Where this is the results datasets graph. The final conclusion is sparse associative structure alignment model for time series unsupervised domain adaptation. In our proposal, a sparse associative structural discovery method equipped with an adaptive summarization of the series segments is used to extract the structure of time series, and MMD based structural alignment method is used to transfer the knowledge from the source domain to the target domain. The success of the proposed approach not only provides an effective solution for the time series domain adaptation task, but also provides some insightful results on what is transferred on time series data set. Thank you.